Yarolsav Askarov has requested a trade and won't report to the Predators' AHL affiliate in Milwaukee if that's where he is at the end of the preseason, which we all know he will be. Juuse Saros, Scott Wedgewood aren't going anywhere. While this could be seen as a problem, he's going to get they'll get a good return on him, even with the reduced leverage they have. Some potential landing spots that I've seen come up, and to varying degrees of common sensory, we'll call it. The Sharks, the Hurricanes, the Flyers, the Blue Jackets, the Blackhawks, Vegas, Utah, and Montreal. So we know Askarov is one of the top goaltending prospects out there. You get a guy like him, you're committing to him for probably the next 6-7 years, maybe, if you're going to go out and invest that kind of capital in getting him. Where do you see it? You pick one team to see him land on. We'll go around the room. Chris, you go first.
It's gonna be an obvious one, right? We're not. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna get everything, I'm gonna get everything here, right? Look, a lot of people are throwing shade at this kid because he's played 11 games in the NHL, and I think that's probably the reason why he wants out of Nashville. He's played 11 games. He wants to go somewhere where he has the chance to play, and he doesn't have it right now in Nashville because you don't commit to Juuse Saros. And then, even if you I get that he's young, and being a goalie in the NHL is extremely tough. It takes multiple years to develop into becoming a great starting goalie. So is he ready to take on that number one job? Probably not. But could he have served as a backup and played 35 games to Juuse Saros? Probably. And Barry Trotz decided he wanted to go out and get Scott Wedgewood instead. And maybe the idea is, hey, he could continue to play in Milwaukee and see a decent amount of games. But I don't know if he has anything else in Milwaukee that is needed to be proven here. So, and it doesn't sound like this is going to be a friendly divorce here, because Barry Trotz says, well, I'm not, we expect him to be here. And Askarov is like, well, I'm probably not going to be here. So to me, there's no loss of leverage because there's no shortage of teams that are going to line up for him, right? And that's just going to drive the price up. I would want him to go to Montreal. But to be honest, I'll be happy with him going anywhere but Chicago. Chicago doesn't deserve anything nice. They deserve nothing. So they've had enough. They're a terrible hockey team. For other reasons outside of hockey, they also don't deserve anything nice. So anywhere but Chicago would probably make me happy. But he would look pretty good in Montreal. Maybe we swap. Maybe we send Caden Primo one way and you send Askarov this way, and he can sit behind Montembeault, or they could split starts, and everybody's nilly-dilly happy. Montreal has the prospects, and they have the picks. So, and Nashville's in a win-now mode. So, just tell me what you want, man. Barry, hit the line.
Get some trade chips.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to see Chris as happy as possible. I want this train to keep going for Chris. If he goes to Montreal, that'd be a lot of fun for them. Another team that I think would really benefit is Philadelphia. Without Carter Hart on that roster and not knowing what the outcome is of his issue, he would fit perfect there. He could go at Michkov. They're both from Russia, and that'd be a nice little tandem right there for the Flyers. So either Montreal or Philadelphia, in my mind, would be the ideal spot. They're obviously Montreal's up and coming, right? With their team. Philadelphia was on the precipice, right? They held that third wild card spot for a while. So you kind of want to get traded to a team that is somewhat in contention, somewhat ready to make that next move. I don't see San Jose doing that. Carolina is still there for now, but I think they're on the downward trend. Columbus, I'm not even counting. And Chicago, let's not keep giving things to Chicago, right? Because, they're out there and they're a top team, but, not right now.
I won't make any arguments against Montreal or Philadelphia being really good landing spots because they both make sense. Carolina, I think they're content with a Kochekov, Anderson 50-50 split as long as Anderson can handle it, at least for this season. So I don't think they go out and pay what they're going to have to pay. Utah, I think, is happy with Connor Ingram. I don't think they're ready to move on from him quite just yet. Vegas, I think it's a waste of the team's mentioned because they play such a good defensive style of hockey that you can put Aiden Hill back there and you're fine. Chris said something earlier about, okay, if you bring Askarov in today, you're not trying to win with him today. He's maybe not ready for that yet. So that's why a team like a San Jose or a Columbus or Chicago, maybe people on the surface are like, hey, it doesn't make sense to bring a guy in like that right now, but he needs to grow too. So while the rest of the team grows, he grows along with them. He starts hitting their stride. Hopefully, when these rebuilding teams are, starting to become real playoff contenders and, legitimate, deep run contenders. So, I mean, that would be the argument for a team like, and those teams usually have the prospects or the picks to go out and get a guy like that. So, those would be ones I would consider. Again, Montreal, Philadelphia, probably the best spots in terms of becoming competitive quicker and the need. But we'll see what happens here. Like I said, Barry Trotz in no rush. He can easily just wait out the first major goaltending injury of the year and be like, okay, let's chat, So,
yeah.
see what
I
happens.
I think Utah has a low-key decent tandem.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ingram is eventually going to emerge as the top guy, but yeah, they do have a good 1-2 punch there, and that's why I don't think like I said, when I rattled off those were all names I've seen bandied about the internet, and you know how that is. Everybody, one person saying Chicago would be a great landing spot, another person was saying no, they actually have good goaltending depth in the minors that just needs more time, so it wouldn't be.